The brand new Rode Wireless Me might be the perfect wireless microphone solution for on-the-go creators. They need something simple and that can capture two people talking while on a budget. They are not an upgrade to the Rode Wireless Go 2, they are a variation with different features and focus. So as usual, we're gonna talk about what you lose, what you get, and who is this best suited for. E aí, I'm Henry. In this channel I help you with the tech tools to be creative, and the concept here is more or less the same. Goodbye to cables, you have almost total freedom to walk around with a transmitter and the audio goes directly to the receiver and into the camera or to the phone. And let's start already with the most important part here, which is saying that the ME now features a microphone also on the receiver. Meaning it is actually a two microphone setup, one on the transmitter and one here on the camera. So their concept is that now you can film your talent, the person in front of the camera, talking with the transmitter on their hands or attached to their clothes, and you behind the camera now can participate also with a microphone very close to you. Quick side note for those that never used external microphones, you cannot get the audio from the wireless microphone and from the camera itself. It's either one or the other. And even if you don't need the voice of the person behind the camera actively in the final edit, at least you can hear it. I've shot several times run and gun interviews in which later I couldn't even hear the voice of the person making the questions, so I just had to rely on the answers to put something on screen. Battery and range didn't change much from Rode 2 to Me. The first version you would have 70 meters in line of sight, and in the second one you have 200 meters. But in reality, I never missed having much more than that. You could see how far I was, and the sound is just perfect. It's basically a whole day and infinity walking. Now talking seriously, the Rode 2 on paper has twice the range of the ME, but on practical terms it's just so far from the camera that it just doesn't make sense. Almost not recommended to try. Now shape and form factor have always been more or less the same. They are these small cubes and the logo is quite bigger now, replacing sadly the screen. The LEDs indicate the pairing, the battery, and if the mic on the receiver is active, so it's gonna show green if it is, or orange if it's not. The lavalier microphone input is still present and it's usually the way that I like to use these microphones. You see, these act as microphones themselves, so you don't need another one. You can just plug it in the jacket like this and it's gonna work no problems. But it's a little bit visible depending on which kind of clothes you're using. So what I like to do is to just plug the lav mic here, so you can leave the transmitter in your pocket and just bring up the lavalier microphone, which can be clipped more or less in the same place, and it's a little bit more discreet. And it also avoids the clothes moving around a little bit because of the weight of this. On a jacket like this, it doesn't change too much, but especially on some kind of lighter shirts, it can be a little bit harder. And there are also the LEDs that call a little bit of attention, but you can dim them using the Rode Central app. On the Go 2, you can monitor the settings and the levels just by looking at the screen on the receiver, of course if you're not short like me. And I think it's like that mainly for two reasons. The first one, that you don't need to worry that much about it on the Me, and also because it helps keeping the price a little bit lower. And that is because one of the main differences is the gain control between them. On the Rode 2 you got this fine control system that you can jump on -3 dB increments until you find the perfect spot for your audio. But the thing is, you cannot set a different gain for the different transmitters. So you have someone talking very peacefully on one side and a screamer on the other one, you have to adjust the audio for the louder one. On the Me, you got the brand new gain assist technology that avoids clipping on both mics at all costs. You can set it to off, auto or dynamic. And it's gonna help maintain the audio more or less leveled and not clipping, and also keeping the voice as natural as possible. And with that, the gain is back to 3 levels only. Another feature that was present on the Rode 2 and that was meant to fix this was the safety channel. On this mode, you would get both transmitters recorded to one channel together at a normal volume, and also both transmitters to the second channel, but at a -20 dB volume, meaning that if suddenly one of them peaked, you could grab the piece from the other. The only issue was that like this, they were always merged and you could never treat them separately in post-production. Another big difference and feature that we have to talk about is the internal recording. The Rode 2 has an internal memory, you don't need micro SDs or anything like that. It can start recording as soon as it's paired with the receiver or as soon as it's turned on. And it's a lifesaver if you get any kind of interference between the transmitters and the receiver. Now sincerely, maybe in 2 years I've used it only a couple of times, but it all depends on how critical are the situations in which you are recording. And the thing is that 2 times it kinda saved my life. There was some interference, the audio on the camera had this small gap, so I just recovered it from the transmitter itself and all was good to go. It's a little bit of peace of mind. An extra point and a very cool feature from the Rode Me is that you can add extra transmitters to the system. Maybe you have a colleague that has another Rode Me or even a Rode 2, you can grab one of the transmitters from those and add to your set. So in this situation you end up with 3 different microphones, the one on the receiver and 2 transmitters. Now the things to notice here is that seems like Rode is not willing to sell the transmitters separately. So you will only be able to add if you already had a previous version, for example with the Rode 2, or if you're someone that has another set. And one more important point is that both transmitters are gonna go to the same channel, and the receiver to another channel. Meaning that if you're really using the 3 microphones, 2 of them are gonna be connected together in the same audio and you cannot separate them. By the way, one thing that usually confuses people about this system is that it's wireless, but it actually needs a couple of cables to work. So between transmitter and receiver, it's completely wireless. But you need to connect the receiver to your camera or smartphone. And just to be sure, Rode packed everything inside the box, so you don't need to go out to buy any kind of extra cable to make this work. You have the cable to connect it to your camera, you have the cable to connect to a USB-C phone, lightning port for iPhones, and even 3.5mm jacks for phones that still have those. And you get the windshields also that are very useful. Another interesting feature is the new Rode Capture app, which is available for iPhone only, and Rode stated that there's no version for Android coming in the foreseeable future. You can record directly with it, you can do dual screen recordings, you can set the video and audio settings as you'd like. It's a complete recording tool directly on your phone. In the meantime, Rode Central is still the main software for you to configure everything about this set of microphones. There you're gonna be able to set everything about the gain assist, enabling or disabling the microphone on the receiver. You can pair more transmitters, and you can also set if it's going to record the split or merged, which I explained in this video over here. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out. But basically it's when you record 2 different microphones and you're gonna be deciding if they're gonna be put together, which is very good for live streamings for example, or if they're gonna be on separate channels so that you can treat them separately, like interviews. Now, things that I think about all this. If you're gonna be going around doing interviews on the street, you're gonna be commenting on something from behind the camera and you have a talent in front of it. You want something simple to use that is almost foolproof against clipping in the audio? The Rode Me is a very good option at $150. The Rode 2 can be purchased for $199 with 1 transmitter only, or $299 if you get 2 transmitters, which means actually 2 real microphones, because you can position them wherever you want. So all in all, I would say, for professionals doing client work, I would recommend the Rode Wireless Go with 2 transmitters. Creators filming only themselves, or one person in front of the camera that they can monitor the audio while doing it, maybe the Rode 2 with 1 transmitter only might just be enough. The catch is only that since Rode doesn't sell the transmitters separately, you might regret later not getting that second transmitter. And creators that need 2 microphones to showcase trips and places in a more informal environment, and that prefer the price tag of the Rode Me, that might be the way to go. Alright, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about the Rode Me and if you think it's worth it over the Rode 2. In the meantime, thanks a lot for watching, and you can continue on to watch this video over here that YouTube is serving you right now. I don't know what it is, but it's probably one of the Rode videos that I have on the channel, that by now there's a bunch of them. Guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!